This particular webinar is entitled Leverage Your Teaching Expertise. So this is for people who are in the classroom, who've been in the classroom, who may be school administrators, who may be school counselors. Nevertheless, you have some type of experience in education. So if that is you, you are in the right place. So today's webinar is brought to you by the Edupreneurship Academy, which is focused on converting your teaching expertise into revenue. We want to help you to earn even more income that will produce profitability in your personal lives as well. Because we as educators have skills that some of us are not even knowledgeable that can be transferred into income. So I do want you to know a little bit about myself. I do have a doctorate in philosophy, so I have a PhD in education. I love to tell people that I am a practitioner, an edupreneur, and a researcher. These are three things that describe me very well, along with some other things, but these are my top three descriptions. I am a national board certified teacher, have been since 2009 and renewed in 2019. And this is my 18th year in education. I spent 12 years of my 18 years in education in urban public school settings. So urban public schools are really my niche and my jam, I like to say. I even wrote my dissertation on leadership in urban elementary schools. This is my 11th year as an edupreneur. I started my first business, Learning Little People, when I was teaching third grade at West End Academy here in Birmingham. I share all of this with you not to be boastful, but because I want you all to understand that I have not gone to school for business. I do not have an MBA. So the things that I know and can share with you do not come from a background in business, nor do they come from a background in marketing. But they're from trial and error. They're from my own research, searching high and low, talking to different people. So hopefully what I share with you today will encourage you to know that as an educator without a business background, you can become or continue to be a profitable edupreneur. I was asked, why are you doing this? Why are you giving away all of this free information? And here's my why in 6 bullet points. First of all, I want to share useful information because this would have been helpful to me 11 years ago when I started my business. So if I had these opportunities to glean from other edupreneurs in webinars such as this, I would have greatly appreciated it. I also have set on this trek to elevate the profession of education. I feel as though it is incumbent upon us to elevate the profession because if we don't do it, no one else will. I also work from an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset. Some people feel as though if you share information with other people, then they will steal your clients or your customers. That's working from a scarcity mindset. For me, there's enough out here to go around. I also want to share the wealth. Some of you know that I look for opportunities to collaborate and contract with other edupreneurs because I want them to also get a piece of the pie. I want to share that opportunities that will come down, not today, but in future webinars. So hopefully you'll join us again. I also want to help with educator retention. Research shows that educators who are happy in their classrooms also possibly have a side hustle. And if they're happy, then those schools and districts can retain those teachers. We do know that there is an educator shortage, an educator crisis, especially in our urban schools. So I am hopeful that with this information, this could lead to more retention of teachers in our schools. And then finally, I'm sharing this information because I want to inform practice. I want edupreneurship to rise to a level, even in our schools of education, that shows that this is here to stay, that business and education can go together. So, with that said, I would love to get input and feedback from other edupreneurs or those that are interested in possibly starting their own businesses so that it can inform my practices as well as the practices of others. So, each webinar, I'm going to give you a challenge. So I have 9 different challenges that I will share with you. So now today, it is time for today's challenge. It's not hard, I promise. So here's the challenge. I'm going to challenge you today to change your thoughts. Anything that I share with you, before you think, I can't, change your thoughts. So if your thought is, I can't charge that much, I can't compete with big companies, I can't handle criticism, I can't do whatever you have told yourself, I challenge you to take I can't out of your vocabulary. Okay? That's my challenge for you today. Instead, I want you to say, I can, Type something in the chat that you can do. I can, whatever it is, I can. It can be broad, it can be specific, but let's see what you come up with. It's simple, but it's effective. I can. As you're doing that, we'll keep moving. I'm going to ask today that you be an active listener. So sometimes we are busy with all of the things, but today I want you to be an active listener and I want you to participate. There will be opportunities that I'll ask you to type this in the chat. I may pose a poll or two. I want you to be active in listening, but also in participating. Take notes. So if you haven't gotten a pen and pad, you may want to go and get something to write with and something to write on. If you have any questions, put those in the chat and I will answer them as we go along or at the very end. There is time allotted for Q&A. Okay. I do want to give us a quick vocabulary lesson because I know that there are terms that I personally use that some people are not quite familiar with. Okay, so the first term that I would like to define for you is an edupreneur. Now, this definition is my personal definition of an edupreneur. When people ask me, what is an edupreneur? Here's what I say. An edupreneur is an educator with an entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, so it does not, in my opinion, mean that an edupreneur has to have an official business. They don't have to have a tax ID number, but they must be an educator with an entrepreneurial mindset. Sometimes the word teacherpreneur is also used, so keep that in mind as well. So we'll use those interchangeably, but most of the time I use the word edupreneur. And I've also coined a phrase called an edupreneurial orbit. Okay. So each edupreneur from my perspective should have an edupreneurial orbit. What is that, you may ask? Here's my definition. An edupreneurial orbit is a dynamic network of relationships and connections that edupreneurs cultivate to enhance themselves personally and professionally with the goal of supporting and improving their businesses. Okay, so it's important for each of us as edupreneurs to have an edupreneurial orbit. Some of us have an edupreneurial orbit, but we have not classified it as such. Today, beginning today, we will do that. So, curious to know, you don't have to share this, but I want you to think about this. Who's in your edupreneurial orbit? If you had to label those people, who would those people be? I've created a graphic that I am working on. This is still a work in progress. I was thinking about people that are in my orbit. So for a profitable edupreneur, of course, your family, they should be closest to you, your friends, right? But then you've got some people on the outer skirts. You've got collaborators, coaches, maybe even some school administrators. I wonder if I've left anyone off. If I have, type it in the chat and I will add them here. But here's just an idea. Again, this is a work in progress. And we'll talk more about your edupreneurial orbit later. So I want you to stay until the end so that you can be in our drawing. I'll call it a drawing. It's not really a drawing, but for you to win a chance at a free 30-minute consultation for coaching with me. Okay, a 30-minute coaching session with me. So let's get into the content for today's webinar. Leverage your teaching expertise. You have expertise that can be leveraged and that may also be profitable. With that in mind, let's start with the quiz. It's not hard, I promise. It's not hard. So the quiz consists of 2 fill-in-the-blank statements. Okay, it is not hard at all. Okay. I see your I can statements in the chat. Very good, very good. Very good. I can make it work. I can attract my desired clients. I can work with ready, willing, able, and paying clients. That's right. That is right, Cassandra. I can leverage my teaching expertise. I love it. Thank you, Prothaniel. All right, here's your quiz. Get ready. Fill in the blank. Let me see if I can scoop this down here on the bottom and move this out of the way. Now, you probably have noticed, I like to say, for blanks instead of blank. I learned that from when I was teaching first grade, and the kindergarten teacher used that. So I stole it from her. Make decisions after complex cognitive processing of available information. Remember, I told you there are 2 fill-in-the-blank questions or prompts. What's the answer for this one? Type that in the chat. Make decisions after complex cognitive processing of available information. Here's the second one. Put number 1 for this one, and then number 2 when you put your answer for the next one. So we'll know the difference, okay? Number 2, are often in situations that are new, unpredictable, complex, and likely to produce information overload. This is number 2. Are often in situations that are new, unpredictable, complex, and likely to produce information overload. All right. What do you think the answers are? What do you think? What do you think? Let's see. And make sure the answer is not on the next page. Okay, back to number 1. Back to number 1. Who makes decisions after complex cognitive processing of available information? That's number 1. I'm looking for at least 1 response in the chat before I give you the answer. Who is it? Who is it? Whoever you want to put there. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, all right. For the sake of time, we'll keep moving. I'll give you the answer. Teachers. Teachers make decisions after complex cognitive processing of available information. Isn't that true? Don't we know that to be true? Teachers do. We're always making decisions, right? We're always processing information and we're always making decisions. Number 2, are often in situations that are new, unpredictable, complex, and likely to produce information overload. What's the answer? Entrepreneurs. Do you see the intersection between educators and entrepreneurs? Teachers are often making complex decisions. Entrepreneurs are often in situations that are new, unpredictable, complex, and likely to produce information overload. I could have said the inverse was true. I could have thought that this one right here was teachers because they're so similar. We're often making many decisions. So this is one way that we see that educators and entrepreneurs are similar, okay? So Edupreneurship motivated teachers to try three different things, according to the research. Unique classroom approaches. It exposed them to new ways of thinking about education, and it prompted pedagogical innovation. So if you think about a classroom teacher who owns a business, that edupreneur is trying things in their business and then they're coming back to their classroom saying, I wonder if this will work. Or the inverse of that will be true. For me, there were things that I would sit down and think about concerning my business. And then I said, I'm going to try this in my classroom. Or there were things that I did in my classroom just innately because I knew that they were best practices. And then I flipped them over and utilized those same principles and practices in my business. So today, I want to share three things with you. I want you to learn how to map your teaching skills to business functions. These will be pieces where you will need, again, something to write on. And then I also want you to brainstorm your passion topics. I know we have a limited amount of time together today, so hopefully you'll get the process started and completed at a later time. And thirdly, I want you to learn how to determine what your potential products and services may be. So as educators, we do have unique strengths. Hopefully, you'll look at these and see that these are true about you, if not all, the majority. Hopefully, as an educator, you have expertise in education itself. I'm hopeful that you have effective communication skills. We talk about being flexible in education, so you're adaptable and you're creative. Sometimes people say elementary school teachers are more creative than middle and high school teachers. I won't make the argument either way, but as an elementary school teacher, I consider myself to be somewhat creative. Educators are also generally good at organizing and managing their time well. That may be you. We're also good with empathy and understanding. And we know that continuous learning, professional development, and having a growth mindset is important. And then we also hopefully have a passion for education. That passion piece will come up a little bit later as well. So I'm going to walk you through 10 teaching skills and business functions that work well together or that really are an iteration of one another. So in teaching, you've got lesson planning. In business, it looks like project management. Okay. So different terminologies, same function. Then we know that we have to be good at classroom management. On the business side, that looks like team management. If you can corral 20 to 25 little people, some places 30, we not want that. But if you can corral that many little people, then you should be good at managing a team of adults. Assessment and feedback is also the same thing as performance evaluation in the business world. And then we've got differentiation, which differentiation focuses on how we meet the needs of our individual students. So then in the business sector, there's customer segmentation where you're focused on what your individual customers need. So you're able to tweak whatever you're providing as a service or a product based on your customers' needs. And then finally, communication in education is the same as business communication, simply put. So those are the first 5. I wonder if any of these are strengths for you. If so, type that in the chat. Okay. Here are the next 5. You've got flexibility and adaptability in education. Again, we have to be flexible. Our schedules can change at any moment. We may have an assembly at any time. I've been a witness to that, and I did not like it because I had lessons to teach, but I had to be flexible and adaptable. And in business, that looks like change management. As an educator, you may be good at motivating and inspiring. And on the business side, they simply call that leadership. If you're good with conflict resolution in your classroom, you've got 2 little people that may have been arguing or fighting, And you've helped to dispel that. You've helped to work them through that without either of them getting suspended or getting into trouble. On the business side of things, that looks like negotiation and conflict management. And then, of course, we know that we have data meetings to talk about what do our test scores look like? How are our students performing? That's data analysis in education, business analysis in business. And professional development is the same as continuous improvement. Okay. I am curious to know if this information is helpful thus far. If you will, reply with a reaction or share in the chat what's resonating with you so far. I know I am moving right along, but is this helpful to you? All right, I've got a thumbs up. Thank you so much, Prothaniel. Anybody else? Helpful information thus far. Okay, let's keep going. Maya Angelou said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." So now let's talk about passion. Take a moment, and if you don't write it down, just take a moment and think about a time when you felt most engaged and enthusiastic in your professional or your personal life. What activities or topics were you involved in? Again, this is just for you. You don't have to put it in the chat for us to see, but take a moment and think about that. When did you feel the most engaged and the most enthusiastic? Something that gave you life, that gave you energy. What were those activities or topics? So your why is important, but I wonder, why does it matter? Why does your why matter? I shared with you my why for offering these particular webinars, but why do you think edupreneurship passion matters? Well, I'll tell you. It does matter because it engages and inspires learners. Okay. Your passion comes across in whatever you say and whatever you do. So if you have young people or even adults in front of you, your passion is going to seep out of you. I hope that you can feel my passion. I've been so excited about these webinars. It engages and inspires learners. It also drives innovation and creativity on your part, for sure. It helps you to become more innovative and more creative. But I would dare to also say that your passion can drive innovation and creativity in other people as well. And finally, your passion sustains motivation and persistence. It helps you to push through even when you don't want to. So there's research to support the idea that online edupreneurship can enhance edupreneurs' classroom practices. So this ties back to what I was sharing with you before. They've actually done research. This particular article is focused on teacherpreneurship. Again, the same thing as edupreneurship. But if that's the case, if an educator has a classroom and they transfer their skills to an online business, then it's reciprocated back into their classroom in a positive light. So this isn't some grandiose idea that I've thought of. There's actually research to support this. When we talk about passion, I do want to give you a caveat, and this is from my own personal experience. Your passion, it may fade over time, and that's normal. But it's important that you maintain it for the success and profitability of your business. How do I maintain it? You may ask. If it's going to fade, if it's possible that it fades, how can I maintain it? I've got a tip for you. This is tip number one. I'm giving a tip every time we meet. I want you to record all of your ideas when they come to mind. Record them at that specific moment, okay? Jot them down, whatever it takes. If the thought comes to your mind, even if it seems as though this is impossible for me to do right now, I still want you to record it. So that may look like an idea book. So I've got a little bitty book here that you can write your ideas in, okay? Jot your ideas down as soon as they come to mind. Now, I like a little tiny idea book because I carry a small purse. This can fit in my purse, right? So have an actual idea book. If you're like me and you like to journal, you like the physical nature of writing, and I love color pens, right? So I write in a different color pen every day. If that's you, write your ideas down in an idea book. You may say, I don't want to write it down, but I have my phone on me at all times. Put it in your notes app. Okay. When you have ideas, jot them down in your notes app. And I like to put it in there where I can check off once it's completed. Those that are not completed are at the top of my screen, and those that are completed are at the bottom. And one other way for you to record that is to literally record it in your voice memos app. So sometimes I'm driving. I can't necessarily write it down in my idea book. I don't want to take the time to try to type it out in my notes app. Record a voice memo and tell yourself, don't forget to do X, Y, or Z. Okay, so again, an idea book, your notes app, or your voice memos app. But I want you to be sure that you date it every time you do that. Dating it is important because it allows you to look back to see, I had this idea on this date, but I didn't execute it until 2 years later. What you'll find, if you're like me, is that you forgot that you had that idea. So when you go back and you visit it periodically, you say, oh, I forgot about this idea. This is the perfect time for me to use this particular idea. It wasn't ready when I had the idea, but now is the perfect time for that. This will help keep your passion going. When you feel as though you're losing sight of what your goals were, when you feel as though you don't even have a new idea, you actually do have a new idea. It's just an old idea that you haven't executed yet. So now let's talk about what your product or service is, or potentially maybe. How do you even determine that? How do you know what it is? All of those things. Again, I want you to focus on your passion. Choose whatever your product or service is based on what you're passionate about and what you do well. You may be passionate about something, but you may not be very, very good at it. I may be passionate at pottery, but my pottery is not that great. I just like to do it. It's something that brings me joy. Now, this is just an example. I am not a potter, nor have I tried to do that, right? Just for an example. So you want those two pieces, something you're passionate about and something that you do well. So for me, teaching little people is my passion. I love to say I am a teacher all day. No, I am not in the classroom anymore, but teaching little people is my passion. And training adults is also my passion. But I'll tell you this, a trip to Chicago years ago changed the trajectory of my career. When I went into education, I assumed that I would be teaching first grade or some elementary school grade for 40 years and retire. But I had this opportunity provided to me by my principal to go to a train the trainer in Chicago. I didn't know why he chose me, but I was very thankful that he did. And he told me, once you finish this training, you're going to come back to our school and train the teachers. When I came back and trained the teachers, that's when I learned that training adults is also my passion. So something that's your passion today can be built on, you can add to your passion, or your passions can even change. You can replace a passion. But think about what are the things that you enjoy doing? Pay attention to those things. Pay attention to how those things make you feel and see if this is something that I'm passionate about and I do well enough to make it profitable. Thus, Learning Little People was born. When I thought of Learning Little People, a lot of people think that it is a daycare. Many of you that know me know that it is not. However, my focus for Learning Little People was on providing professional development for educators. I wanted it to be a way for me to share my talents in teaching little people with other adults. So I wanted the adults to learn little people, learn about little people and how they learn. But in turn, I was hopeful that the little people would learn, Learning Little People. I love the name of my business. I just love it so much. It was God-given. So here are 8 steps that I want to share with you. Again, as I've already said, some of this you may need to sit with and have time later to work on, but I do want to just put these things on your radar again, because I would have loved to have had this information when I started my business 11 years ago. So here are 8 steps to determining your product or service. The first thing I want you to do is identify what your personal strengths, skills, and passions are. We've talked about that. After that, you need to take time to research the needs and the gaps in the education market. I do realize that some of you are interested in starting a business, or you may have a business that is not focused on education. So then that piece of this particular step, you can tweak it. For example, my cousin, who is a special education teacher, has her own baking business. So her baking business is not specifically tied to the education market, but there was some research needs and gaps that she wanted to fill. So that was necessary for her business. And she continues to do research for her business to grow. Third, generate products and service ideas that address the identified market needs. So when you do your research, then think of what are the products and services that I can provide that the market is saying don't exist. Okay, so I'll give you an example. For me, I have looked into other companies that offer services to edupreneurs. Most of them are specifically provided to entrepreneurs and not necessarily educators, but the ones that are for educators pigeonhole you into coaching, or they pigeonhole you into speaking, or they pigeonhole you into tutoring. For me, because I have experience in each of those areas, I don't want to just say, this is what I offer only for educators looking to tutor, only for educators looking to coach, right? So you decide based on your research what those products and services should look like. And then after you've done your research and you've generated some ideas, refine your brainstorm ideas. Refine those ideas, look through those and refine them, and then seek feedback to further evaluate those ideas. So you refine them, seek feedback, and I would say refine them again. And then number 6, create a simple prototype or outline of the product or services that you have and test its viability. So after that, you can develop a concrete plan to move forward for your selected idea. So there's a process that you go through to make sure that what you're offering is necessary or something that people want in order to know whether it will be monetizable. And then finally, share your final ideas and commit to next steps. Making those commitments are very important. Okay, I'm about to announce who the free 30-minute coaching recipient is in a moment. Hold that thought. Okay, while I am working on that, while I'm getting to that, I want you to type a number in the chat. I already have my number, so I don't want you to think I'm cheating. I've already written it down. It's right here. I don't want to show it to you. Well, wait, where is it? Oh, here it is. It's right here. I won't show it to you, but it is there. I'll show you that it is on something this color. I have a number. Okay, write your number in the chat. So the person who is closest to the number without going over is going to be the winner. Okay? So we are about to complete this very first webinar, but I hope you'll join me tomorrow for the second webinar, and we'll talk about how to identify your ideal niche. Okay? Now, some people say niche just because they want to say the riches are in the niches. The word is niche. Nevertheless, we'll talk about how you can identify your ideal niche. It is important for you to be able to identify your ideal niche, because if you try to sell to everybody, you'll end up selling to no one. So be specific in your niche. There are people who say, well, no, I want it to be available to everybody. I get that mindset, but it's not the right way to think. Okay. And then on Wednesday, we'll talk about how to design engaging adult learning experiences. That's through online courses as well as in-person workshops and trainings. Okay. That is tomorrow. If you haven't registered already, there is the QR code. Grab it right quick. Grab that right quick. I'm hopeful that you will meet me right here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Notice that the webinars are at different times. If you cannot join, still register and I'll send you the playback. Okay? The playback will be available. Different times. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. All right, we've got 2 numbers in the chat so far. Anybody else interested in the free 30-minute coaching session with me? Put your number in the chat. Okay. Number between 1 and 100. Whoever comes the closest without going over wins. Okay, going once, going twice. While we're working on that, I do want you to know that I am developing online courses to accelerate your business goals. Okay, I am working on that as we speak, and these courses are phenomenal, if I may say so myself. So because you joined me today, I will share with you that there is a mini course bundle for only $200. And it won't begin until June 17th, but this offer expires tonight at 11:59 p.m. Let me tell you what's in that course before I do, though. I'm going to ask that you don't share the link with your friends, okay? Tell them to come to the webinar instead, but do not share the link with your friends, because this is only for those of you that have attended today's webinar. Okay, so if they register using this link, they're going to have to pay the difference. I will not refund their money. I'm just letting you know that's a part of the policy. There are no refunds, though, so they won't get a refund, but they will have to pay the difference in the price. Okay. But nevertheless, this mini course bundle consists of 4 course titles. So I'm going to teach you how to identify your target market. We'll go in depth in each of these in these mini courses, though. I'm going to teach you how to develop your value proposition. I'll also teach you how to create or polish your business plan, and I'll show you how to build your edupreneurial orbit. I'm going to also help you build your orbit as well. Okay, so you've got 4 mini courses for only $200. Let me grab that link for you so that I can put that in the chat for you to have it. Remember, don't share it. Do not share. Okay, all right. Let me go back. Okay, just for you, because you are here today. And I will give you, let's see, where's my chat? Here we go. Dropping the link in the chat right now. Okay, there is that. Okay. These mini courses I'm so excited about them. Oh my goodness. They are like none other. They are not boring. They're not drab. And they're not just sit and get. These are actually actionable items that I'm going to expect you. Nope, give me proof. What have you done? Turn it in. What have you done? Okay, next, show me. But because you're here today, I am going to do 5 mini courses. I'll add how to create proposal templates in here. My proposals that I send out to principals And even to nonprofit and for-profit sectors, my proposals are gorgeous. They're just so nice and professional. I'll show you how to do that. Still at that $200 price point, but instead you'll get 5 mini courses. So remember, it expires today. I went on and created a second bundle because I said some of my people have already started their businesses, so they don't need those beginning pieces, but you might need this right here. How to design your business's website. I'll walk you through that process step by step so that you'll have a nice, crisp, and clean website. I'll also show you how to organize your virtual calendar. Your calendar is important so that you're not missing out on opportunities. You're not saying you'll be somewhere and then you say, oh, I forgot. No, organize your calendar. I'll also show you how to design your marketing strategy. That is very, very important. Marketing is important. And I'll show you how to schedule social media posts if you don't know how to do so. Of course, within that, I'll show you how to create those social media posts as well as an added bonus to that. So that's the second course bundle. So you are welcome to sign up for both of these bundles if you'd like. But again, because you're here today, I will show you how to create email marketing campaigns. Some of you received my emails this morning. One of my church members told me yesterday, I'm still getting your emails. That's through email marketing. The research shows that you actually get more sales through email marketing than you do through social media posts. So you've got the link there. You can sign up for that. And we will host next year, June 12th through the 14th. We are going to host an Edupreneur Accelerator Retreat. This is only for people who are in the Edupreneurship Academy. So join the Academy. If you sign up today for our courses, you're automatically in the Academy. But you'll see on the link that I sent you that you can also join the Academy if you say, well, Erica, $200 is too much for me. And those course topics right now, because I'm going to do more courses, as many courses as well, those course topics right now are not necessarily what I need, but I would like to be a member of the Edupreneurship Academy. That is on the website that I sent, the link that I put in the chat, for $35 a month. So join that and you can get an invitation to the Accelerator Retreat, which is going to be amazing. Your meals are included, housing is included, all of the things are included, in addition to all of the wonderful workshops and different things that we'll have. I'll have some industry experts there to work with you. It's going to be an awesome opportunity. So if you're interested, join the Edupreneurship Academy. All right, so now let me go on and tell you, we'll do Q&A in a second, but let me tell you who the winner is. We've got 2 numbers in the chat. Here is the number that I had, 35. Can you see it, 35? So therefore, Lavella, Dr. Lavella Jones is our winner for a 30-minute free coaching session. Thank you for joining us today. Now, what questions can I answer? Because I am 1 minute over time. Any questions? Let me stop sharing. Thank y'all so much for being here with me. This has been so much fun. I hope you've learned a lot. Of course, it's a webinar, so I can't go as deep as I want to go. Yay, Lavella! Woo, woo. I can't go as deep as I want to go, but any questions before we go? Let me drop my email address in the chat. Right click, if I can spell today, just in case you want to ask me some questions offline. My email address is hello@drericajewel.com. Again, please let your friends and colleagues know we've got 8. I had to think about, no, there we go. 8 more. We've got 8 more webinars to go. So please join us when you can. And again, if you can't, still sign up and I'll send you the playback. Seeing no questions in the chat, I will bid you adieu. Enjoy your Monday. Bye, everybody.